Who exactly is in charge here? Welcome to Walking Through the Word for today. We're in John chapter 12, and we just finished having a conversation where Jesus talks about the sacrifice of following him. And he switches gears in verse 27. And he makes a very profound statement here when he says, "Now my soul is troubled. What shall I say? Father, save me from this hour? But for this purpose I have come to this hour. Father, glorify your name." Now these are huge statements that are made here. First of all, this points to the humanity aspect of Jesus. See, we can never and should never forget the fact that Jesus is both fully God and fully man. To deny either aspects of that is to deny Jesus, to deny who he is and what he did and how he was able to do it. Here he is reminding us that he is fully human. Jesus doesn't want to die on the cross. As a parent, there are a lot of things that I don't want to do that I do anyway because I recognize it is for the betterment of my children. Not for my benefit, but for their benefit. Jesus is doing this for our benefit, not for his. There's nothing that is exciting about what Jesus is about to endure. And when we see this and we see my soul is troubled, we kind of look at that and we're kind of like, okay, Jesus is upset. No, you don't understand. If you've ever been truly deeply in your soul, filled with agony, you kind of get a glimpse of what Jesus is talking about here. There have been a few instances in my life when I have been so deeply troubled that it is in many ways made me ill. It has made me physically unable to do my daily tasks and responsibilities. Fortunately, this doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it is flat out just how do you even function? In other words, how do you live when the thing that is supposed to end everything happens? I've been through it in my life, and you wonder, how do you do this? Jesus, how does Jesus even function this? When his heart wants to say, God, let me out of this. And he does, even in the garden, once again, if it's, if there's any other way, please let it happen. If there's any other way. But ultimately, I do this for your glory, God. I do this because you have promised that we will be reconciled to humanity. And I am the bridge. I am the key to that reconciliation. And God gives reassurance, just like he does for us. He says here, I have glorified it and I will glorify it again. In other words, I will make good. I have done for you what I promise for you. And this is a beautiful thing that God has given us in the gift of Jesus Christ. This is a beautiful thing that is coming here. And it's something that is visible for others and audible for others to hear. When Jesus answered that this voice has come for your sake, not mine. Basically, Jesus is saying, look, I'm always talking to God. This is just like when Jesus was talking to Lazarus. Look, for the benefit of you are hearing this, to know that I am who I say I am. I have come just as I promised I would come. I am the Messiah. This is now, however, the judgment of the world. And there's a bit of a misconception here. It says, now will the ruler of the world be cast out. See, most of the people will think that Satan lives in hell. That's the goal. That's the idea. That's what they think. That's not where Satan lives. Satan is the prince of the air. Satan lives on earth. He is the ruler that is being mentioned here. He is the one that is in charge, if you will, of overseeing the depravity of humanity. He has been given a cursed kingdom, and eventually that cursed kingdom will cast him out into the fiery pit, along with all the demons that chose to follow him. Yet, in this case, Jesus is saying, not only will God be glorified, but the greatest humiliation, sin, will be defeated. It will be destroyed. When I am lifted up from the earth, I will draw everyone to myself. Every knee will bow and every tongue will confess. And Jesus is giving the visual of what's going to happen. He will be lifted up for the sake of us. The kind of death that he's going to die for us, a sacrificing death, one of love, mercy, not for his sake, but for the glory of God, for our sake.